Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is commemorated as National Sugar Cookie Day in US. It falls on July 9th each year and provides us a perfect excuse to indulge in our guiltiest sugar-filled cravings. They are fun, they are classic, but most importantly, they taste unbelievably delicious. Originating back to 1700s in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, sugar cookies were initially referred to as Nazareth cookies by German Protestant settlers and baked in the shape of keystone, their state symbol. Fast forward a couple of hundred years later, and traditional sugar cookies are now treasured staple and amid most households. Though they are outwardly simple, sugar cookies are a popular treat frequently consumed on numerous different occasions, including Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas, and birthdays. There are ample ways to celebrate this day, but rarely do we need a reason to celebrate sugar cookies. If you are really fortunate, you already have a top secret sugar recipe devised by your great grandma that has been passed down in your family for generations. However, if it is not the case, you can still find hundreds, if not thousands, of recipes on the web. In the event that you are not a baking connoisseur or don't have time to make these sweet treats from scratch, you'll find a ready-to-bake cookie dough in the refrigerated section of most local grocery stores. For a boost of flavor, add a smidge of cinnamon on top of cookies before placing them in the oven. Today is also commemorated as Argentina Independence Day in Argentina annually celebrated on July 9th. That marks the day when Argentina declared independence from Spain. Independence Day is a historically significant event for every country, and on this day, Argentina organizes remarkable celebrations with patriotic events. On July 9th, 1816, the Congress of Tucumán declared the independence of United Provinces of South America. The region the nation belonged to, Argentina, take to the streets and participate in many different activities, from marches and concerts to public rallies and parades. To celebrate Argentina's Independence Day, anyone in Argentina or another continent of the world can celebrate this day. To promote education among Argentina students, many organizations and companies have established. The movement for Argentina independence began in 1806 when British attacks on Buenos Aires were fended off by local police with barely any help from Spain. The consequences of Napoleon, its intervention in Spain in 1808, were also important. The overthrow of Napoleon Ferdinand VII plunged Spain into a civil war between two warring governments, one created by Napoleon, the other created by a patriotic junta in the name of exiled kings and with the help of the British. According to the ancient principles of Spanish law, royal dominions in America had the right to rule until the restoration of the rightful king, and on May 25th, 1810, now celebrated as Revolution Day, Buenos Aires established an autonomous viceroyalty in the name of Ferdinand. Today is also commemorated as Call of the Horizon Day in US, which is celebrated annually on July 9th. It is an interesting event that is observed by seizing the day, looking into the horizon, enjoying the little moments and concentrating on what matters most in life. It is a day to help start working towards our dreams by doing tasks that we keep procrastinating on or have yet to plan out. So what we are waiting for. Although the origin of the Call of the Horizon Day is unclear, the holiday has reportedly been celebrated since 2011. Regardless, the horizon has always symbolized dreams, hopes, and opportunities in stories and movies since times immemorial because of its beauty and vastness. Horizons could also signify something unattainable or unfulfilled dreams that are out of reach. In the notable 1918 American play title, Before the Horizon, award winner playwright Eugene O'Neill describes one of the main characteristics to be particularly drawn to the horizon, which to him represents freedom and adventure, but never acting on his dream. The play won the 1920 Pulitzer Prize for Drama for the tragic narrative that highlights how dreams are necessary to sustain one's life. Call of Horizon Day has been considered equivalent to Wanderlust Day in another countries. However, the concept of Wanderlust steers more towards travel and exploration, striking more a resemblance to the World Dream Day initiated in 2012. Call of Horizon Day is an empowerment-driven day to motivate people to pursue and manifest their dreams. Today is also commemorated as Drukpa Teshi in Bhutan. Drukpa Teshi, observed on July 9th every year, commemorates the auspicious day when Gautam Buddha delivered his first sermon after his enlightenment. It falls on the fourth day of the sixth lunar year, according to the Tibetan calendar. In Buddhism, the sermon is known as the setting of the wheel of Dharma in motion. Buddha spelled out the Four Noble Truths and he learned through the enlightenment. This was so that his disciples and followers too can take the path of salvation. Buddhists in Bhutan, Tibetan, and Sikkim observe this day by chanting prayers and holding a yak race. Buddha gave his first sermon as a deer forest in Sarnath, a village near the holy city of Banaras. This was more than 2,500 years ago. It was believed that he presented and explained the Four Noble Truths to his followers on the fourth day of the sixth lunar month. These truths explain suffering. In simple words, life begins with suffering. Then you find the cause of this suffering, followed by the realization that it can end. Finally, you embark on the path that leads to the end of your suffering. When you reach the end of the path, you get enlightened. The day is mainly observed by the Bhutanese and the people of Sikkim in India. People don traditional attires and attend prayers in monasteries to commemorate the sacred event. Devotees and pilgrims from around the flock to Sikkim and Bhutan to attend the grand celebrations. Don't be surprised if you find monks, tourists, and locals meditating in monasteries. Meditation is a way of life for Buddhists, and they believe that eventually leads one towards salvation. Besides religious ceremonies, the locals also host a cultural feast. It comprises traditional yak races and a buffet of delectable Sikkimese delicacies for visitors. Mutang in North Sikkim and the Date Park in Gangtok are two of the major hosts of Drukpa Deshi in India. In Bhutan, the festival is celebrated in every part of the country with pomp and fervor. Indian Emperor Ashoka converts to and establishes Buddhism on a national level for the first time in 4th century. The Buddha canon, as we know it today, it's codified in Bihar, India in 5th century. Walwak Gendun Drupta becomes the first Dalai Lama of Tibet in 1931 to 1474. Buddhist canon in Pali language. The Pali canon is revised and engraved on 729 marble stones under the patronage of King Mindan of Burma in between 1868 to 1875. Buddhists celebrate the 2500th anniversary of the Buddha's enlightenment, Mahaparinirvana, in 1956. So, Drukpa is an important festival in Bhutan and Tibet, but is also celebrated with fervor in Sikkim, a tiny state in northeast India, and across the world where Buddhism hails. Drukpa is a non-working holiday in Bhutan and Sikkim. Most offices, schools, and business remain closed on this day. Drukpa is a primary festival for Buddhists, and it is observed by performing ceremonial rites and conducting traditional yak races. Buddha gave his first sermon in Sarnath, a place near the holy city of Varanasi in India. If you have Buddhist friends, join them in celebrating this festive day, observe their rituals, and eat scrumptious dumplings. Their lifestyle may teach you life truths. You may consider taking a trip to Bhutan to witness the auspicious celebrations. Soak in the serenity of mountains while you listen to the sacred chanting in a monastery. The ceremonial rites are quite fascinating. The occasion centers around Buddha's sermons. Take some time out to know more about his teachings and life. Study why he is revered. In Buddhism, any person who attains moksha or enlightenment is equivalent to God, and there is no God as such. The first Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, was born in India in 567 BC, an Indian origin. The famous laughing Buddha was actually a real Chinese monk named Chai Tzu. China houses 50% of the world's Buddhist population. China tops everyone. And primarily vegetarian, Buddhists refrain from killing animals and are vegetarians. Dukpateshi isn't just about the sacred ceremonies and festivities, it introduces us to the Buddhist way of life and culture. Meditation is a crucial practice followed by Buddhists. This can help us consciously reflect on life, which can help us learn from our mistakes and gain perspective. This day commemorates the Buddha's first sermon to his disciples. The Buddhists believe that one can attain salvation by following these teachings. Today is also commemorated as Fashion Day in US. It gives everyone the opportunity to put their fashionable side on display and let the world see their unique aesthetic sense. Be it through their clothes or accessories, fashion is an integral part of American society. Since so many culturally diverse communities live and thrive in this country, where every individual has a unique way of expressing their fashion sense. The first ever Fashion Day was celebrated in 2016, which makes this day relatively recent, one of the American cultural calendar. It appears the Fashion Day might have emerged as a popular day through social media or the efforts of an unidentifiable group with a zeal to celebrate everyday fashion choices made by Americans across the country. Whatever the origins of the day, Fashion Day appears to have gained a lot of traction since its creation in 2016. Fashion Day is an interesting occasion and can be seen as a kind of public revolt against dominant fashion trends and styles that are set by major houses and corporations across the country. It is for this reason that the day is seen as a popular event for LGBTQ groups and people all over the country, as it gives them opportunity to assert their fashion choices and tastes without any fear of criticism. For many people, especially those who aspire to join fashion industry, Fashion Day is a great time to dive into the world of fashion and experience how different individuals pursue fashion and choose to express their fashion sense through the clothes and makeup they wear on this day. Today is also commemorated as National Don't Put All Your Eggs in One Omelette Day in US. It is don't put all your eggs in one basket is an idiom that warns people against concentrating all their efforts or putting all their hopes into one venture because they could lose it all. The analogy applies to omelets as well. However, have you ever gotten so hungry that you crack too many eggs into the pan and end up with a sloppy mismatch of an omelette? Is irritating, messy, and wasteful. This special holiday hopes to discourage that. As simple as that. Anyway, even going a vegan is a better option nowadays. Today is also commemorated as Martyrdom of the Bab, is a commemoration of the martyrdom of one of the founders of Baha'i religion, which began in Iran in the year 1844. On this day, the Baha'i people recount the execution of the Bab, who was charged with the crime of apostasy in the year 1850 in the Persian Empire and then imprisoned along with his followers. Sayyid Ali Muhammad Shirazi was a merchant who lived in the city of Shiraz and worked as a merchant in the coastal city of Bushehr. At the age of 30, he was accused of being an apostate and was immediately imprisoned and ordered to be executed. There were many eyewitness accounts of miracles surrounding his execution and the following events, all of which were reflected in the way martyrdom of Bob is commemorated. Today is also commemorated as Nunavut Day in Canada. The day of Parliament of Canada passed the Nunavut Act along with the Nunavut Land Claims Agreement. It officially declared Nunavut as a district region that is legally separate from the Northwest Territories. The act was originally passed on April 1st, 1999, but we celebrate Nunavut Day 8 days later, the day of passage of Nunavut Land Claims Agreement, which is more historically significant. Today is also commemorated as Palau Constitution Day. Palau Constitution Day is celebrated and observed annually on July 9th. Most public events occur in the capital of Nergal and the city of Koro, with citizens taking the day off from work to spend time with their loved ones. The national holiday celebrates Palau culture and history, marking its journey to independence from the US through popular referendums. In 1981, Palau opted not to join the rest of Micronesia and adopted its own constitution, which is modeled after the American Constitution, outlining its relationship with the US through the free association. Today is also commemorated as State Rebellion Day in Brazil, which is the last commemoration of the day. The Brazilian state of Sao Paulo commemorates the 1932 Constitutional Revolution with State Rebellion Day on July 9th every year. The Constitutionalists Revolution of 1932 is the term given to the rebellion of the people of Sao Paulo, Brazil against the Brazilian Revolution of 1930. When Getúlio Vargas was elected president of the country, local dissatisfaction grew as a result of Vargas' rule by decree under a provisional government that was not governed by the constitution. The Sao Paulo Revolution of 1930 attempted to erode the autonomy of the states had throughout the 1891 Constitution's period. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. See you all tomorrow with the same joining link at the same time, 6 o'clock, with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.